The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Coming up tonight, a major traffic pileup on Paradise Island Bridge this morning after a heavy-duty cement truck crashes into a line of traffic at the toll booth. Also tonight, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis asking why the LNG BPL project costs so much more than it did when he was Prime Minister. Minnis also commending Pia Glover-Roll for speaking out against BPL and the marathon power outages in Golden Gates this week. And later, Works Minister Clay Sweeting says the Pinewood Drainage Project is months from a start date. We have an update for you. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's Week in Review Fridays. We begin with a story that unfolded in real time this morning. Bumper-to-bumper traffic stalled on the portion of the Sydney-Poitiers Bridge that allows you to enter Paradise Island this morning following several traffic accidents, one of them being between a truck and a small vehicle that occurred at one of the toll booths there. Police alerted media to the incident shortly before 9 this morning. While details surrounding the incident remain unclear, videos and photographs circulating appear to show that the truck may have been entering Paradise Island while the small white vehicle allegedly tried to exit before colliding. How you exit on the... Anyways, so videos and photos circulating also showed at least 2 additional accidents that happened on the same bridge amid the congestion. Now, police continue to encourage those traversing the roads to drive with due care and caution and attention. Well, I'm going to bring in the Hot Topics panel right now so you can see the images. And thank you guys for continuing to show the images from today. A whole lot of damage on Paradise Island this morning. That truck, there was another video I saw where the truck was going at considerable speed and obviously may not have been able to come to a stop. This is it right here. Take a look, you all. There's the big truck right there in that frame. It is, as you can see, I imagine the guy is trying to press the brakes. That brakes is not at all effective right now. And you should hear, you all have heard it, you've seen it.
It's not a concrete truck.
What is it?
It's a pump truck. Cement truck.
Cement pump truck. And so we're going to jump in right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Leslie Miller, Michael Turnquest, Howard Johnson. Gentlemen, happy Friday to each of you and good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Bahamas.
Gentlemen, your thoughts on what you saw with all the images we saw on video that we saw just a little while ago. I don't even know, because you know when that incline going toward the toll booth on that bridge, if you don't step on that brakes from the pinnacle of the bridge to now begin the incline, you could very well go down that bridge to the toll booth with a whole lot of speed.
You know, Shanique, the reality is that this is nothing new to Paradise Island Bridge, especially, this new bridge. This has happened, numerous times, and that's why they have the barriers up in the front of the booth, the toll booths, to try and help in the event that someone do lose brakes, especially most of these heavy-duty vehicles have air brakes that goes with a compressor system. And if that fails, all hell will break loose, because the momentum of this, going down a hill with the weight of the truck going down would create a catastrophe like what we saw earlier this morning. And, it looked as though, speed was not involved, because it looked like traffic at the foot and at both sides of the bridge. So more than likely he got over that horizon and either brakes failed and a truck coming down such a hill,
decline before, but started to decline where, of course, gravity and everything is playing
and the weight
of
that truck it's only one thing that's going to happen. Either he go run into the wall and try to let the wall stop him, or the barrier.
I'm sure they're glad he didn't run into the wall.
Yeah. So
One of them walls fall down.
but this is something that I think now the bridge authority really needs to take a real serious look at. Whereas whether it's trying to make a lane just for them and put safety barriers in place in the event that they do lose the compressor or their brakes, because right now you have, sometimes when it did happen in the past, it was because of speed. Trucks coming over the hill, coming down, and then by the time as they try to press brakes, it's too late, and they run into most of them go to the barrier. But it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's something that we really need to take a serious look at, because there's a lot of mashed up cars or damaged vehicles along the way.
Howard, I'm happy that Michael said that, because in Jamaica has a separate lane entirely for heavy-duty vehicles, whether it's 18-wheelers, one like this. And I remember Prime Minister Ingram eons ago suggested heavy-duty vehicles operate at a different time of day.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
That's what he put in place.
It's in place? But what happened?
Between certain hours, they cannot go over the bridge. Normally in the mornings, before 8 o'clock, before traffic rush, on the afternoons after 5 o'clock, again avoiding the traffic rush. I was shocked that 9 o'clock in the morning, this big tow truck, and that's not a concrete truck, that's a pump truck.
Concrete.
And if you see the length of their bums, it's about 60 feet by itself. That could cause tremendous damage. Tremendous damage. They should not have been on the road at that hour. The same thing with all the containers that drive up and down.
Yes.
They had specified time for them.
Speed.
They speed, like especially around
yes.
this on Ben here. We had many accidents here on the six-legged roundabout.
And also on West Bay Street, where they go to the container port.
Yes.
It's just a whole lot of speeding and reckless driving there.
And lives could have been lost today. Another tragedy again.
Thankfully.
Thank God he was in our.
Yes.
He gave us a break this time. Yeah. And of course, I hope Paradise Island take the corrective measures and do what needs to be done.
In terms of what?
To again be specific, you will only drive between 6 a.m.
I hope so.
and 8 a.m.
I hope so.
And between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m.
I hope
and I think the bridge authority,
the bridge authority got to do that.
They need to do something.
If they care about concern about the drivers.
Yes, Howard?
Yeah, Shanika, I'm just so happy, like Leslie said, I'm just happy that nobody lost their lives, and everybody ended up being okay. Cars can fix, and cars don't go in the hospital, but people do.
Right.
It really, when I started receiving the videos and images this morning, I was wondering if that was I-95 or I-4 or something when I saw the big pileup, right?
Or 441, But,
over here on some of those major roads here in the United States, and I know it's not a fair comparison, they have miles and miles and stretches of lanes that are designated for those big vehicles to travel on, and then the designated time frames as well, like Leslie alluded to. But I just want this to be a clarion call to the individual motorists in Nassau, to take the necessary precautions as an individual driver. It pains me that we can be so compliant with the traffic and motor laws when we travel abroad, depending on our geographic location. When Bahamians are driving in Canada, when they're driving in the United States, they're so careful, they're very observant, they're very compliant. And then in our own country,
because they know the consequences.
We should be proud. Right. Exactly.
They know the consequences.
We don't do it. So I'm just hoping that people are waking up to the fact that we need to do better on our own roads, just like we want to comply overseas.
I absolutely agree. And by the way,
a lot of the drivers, that these companies have driving are not always equipped to drive those type of vehicles. They get into the jack leg.
Yes.
But I thought
driving the vehicles.
But I thought they all go through a driving
They're supposed to.
Come on now.
But we always find the shortcuts, eh?
Yeah.
There's a guy through Perdale and through Old Fruit that has a school that you take them through this program. Okay? But listen, any country could do things the right way, In the Bahamas, we always take the shortcuts.
Right.
That's us. We can't help ourselves.
That's
So
it.
they
And
sell
then,
it,
and
so
then
they selling these licenses.
and
Yeah.
perhaps,
Yeah.
and then
You know.
also no required sort of maybe twice a year you go
Inspections and all that.
exactly to ensure these
But
guys
ready
are
for them should be
on
every
top
3
of
months.
exactly, you know. And so
Okay.
when they said also the car was coming from a different direction, I don't quite get that part. By the way, I hope I did say the decline as it heads toward the toll booth. I hope I said that, but that's exactly what happens when you drive toward the toll booth. Meanwhile, gentlemen, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is asking questions about the cost of the new LNG project. You all know that's been announced a couple weeks ago for, in fact, just even, I think this week it was signed. Prime Minister did sort of the groundbreaking for the LNG BPL project. Minnis says when he was Prime Minister, the cost was at least half of what it's now pegged at, which is around $500 million. Here's Devontae Hanna with the story.
I was amazed when I saw that the new entity said that it would cost $500 million to build the LNG plant, when at our time, it was only 215. So that's a big increase in such a short time.
Former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis revealing his administration's plan for a gas LNG terminal was only a fraction of the current price the Davis administration has locked in.
There was a particular oil company who had offered to do it, and at that time, they were charging $285 million, which was 70 plus million more than our construction cost. And therefore, we did not follow that pathway.
Officials put shovels in the ground this week, commencing the start of work on the new facility, which has been described as a critical component of the government's $1.4 billion energy transformation plan. Under the current final investment decision, Shell, in a joint venture with focal subsidiary Sun Oil Holdings, acquired 40% interest in New Providence Gas. Minnis says his administration's plan looked different and benefited the Bahamian people in a plethora of ways.
We got them to agree at that time that we and BPL would build the plant at $215 million, and 65% would be owned by government, 25% would be owned by the people, and 15% would be owned by the gas company. And that was the agreement. We also had agreed that after 3 years, the government would start to offload its 65% to the Bahamian people so that more people can become involved and be a part of this new economy.
By putting $10 million aside, he shares how he planned to boost Bahamian ownership.
Give them up to $1,000 to purchase the shares, and the dividends from the shares would be used to repay the loan that they would have gotten. And then once that loan is repaid, then they would get the shares formally issued to them. So that is something we're looking
Leslie, I know this is something, I'll wait for you because I'm going to let Michael and Howard jump in because I know this is something that to this day vexes you. Minnis says that, listen, hold on, how does jump to that? What's going on? Because when he was Prime Minister, it certainly was hundreds of millions of dollars less, but now it's pegged at where it's at. Your thoughts, gentlemen, of what former Prime Minister Minnis is now raising?
You know, you would have to agree, because 20 years ago or 30 years ago, LNG wasn't good for the environment, et cetera. Now, all of a sudden, it's good now. And of course, I guess the excuse is, everything has gone up. So, of course, you can't expect what was, X amount of dollars yesterday cost the same thing today. To me, which is a bunch of garbage. I mean, when you look at LNG glass or clean energy, there are so many ways that we can extract energy from our own, resources that we have sitting here currently.
Sun and sea.
And we go here to go, spend billions of dollars, which eventually the taxpayers, because at the end of the day, I always say, investors are always looking for their return on investment. So at the end of the day, we continue to get up with, reduction in costs or fuel or our electricity bills. But, when will we actually see it, before they get their returns first? And we're talking about billions of dollars of investment. So, to me, it's just politics all over again. And, it's just like, we keep it seems that we keep carrying our country backwards with all the, whether it be under-table deals or whatever take place, but this is something that we should have had up to 10 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah, Shanique, and I understand what Dr. Minnis is saying in a way. I mean, he should be concerned. He was the prime minister of this country. We know that some people are struggling at this time. Inflation is high. There's a lot going on with families in need, etc. But Dr. Minnis was prime minister about 10 years ago. Bread don't cost the same. You buy a vehicle today, it don't cost the same. The purchasing power of money erodes over time. That's inflation. You can buy a lot less today that you were able to purchase 10 years ago when Dr. Minnis was in office. And so these things factor into the cost being different today than it would be 10 years ago. But one thing I want to say, Shanique, too, is back in the early 2000s when this LNG thing was coming up, I didn't know much about what LNG was. I was a junior at the University of West Florida in Pensacola, Florida, and it was the first time I heard about LNG, and it really was the first time that I found out who Leslie Miller was. And one thing that was really significant for me and impressive was just how Leslie was fighting for that, and he really came to my attention because he really wanted that for the Bahamian people in terms of the cost savings and the reduction in the bills and what was being passed on to the Bahamian people. So I'm hoping that this happens when it comes online, that the Bahamian people are going to be able to benefit. That's why you have your government. That's why you have elected them, so that they can bring that relief and they can provide solutions to the myriad problems that we have in our country.
But it's one thing. It's so funny that we can always do these studies, right? And we can say, oh, we're going to see, it's going to cost us this much. We've done the environmental studies, and this is how it's not going to have no environmental impact. But why can't we give definitive figures as it relates to electricity costs now cost 27 cents a kilowatt? We're going to be able to reduce, as soon as this first phase go live, we're going to be able to reduce this to 15 cents or 10 cents. Why could we never say what the actual figure will be in terms of kilowatt costs?
Excellent point.
A very, very very good point. And Leslie, before you speak up, that is why this week as well, there's been a call for just more communication, or better, perhaps, communication from BPL. Just take us along, keep us informed, and give us information like that so the Bahamian people buy into it. Leslie?
The old people say life always comes full circle. In 2005, we worked, David Davis and the team that we put together, God bless them, work assiduously going through all the countries in this region and elsewhere. Went to Washington, met with the State Department, met with the Energy Department, had a contract sitting on the table for AES to put a plant on Ocean Key to supply Florida Power and Light on Turkey Point for 20 years. And the public treasury, the people's treasury of the Bahamas, is going to get $1.2 billion for signing that contract. They were also going to retrofit 60% of the engines at Clifton Pier to receive LNG. So they're going to cut our bill by 50%. And we worked like hell to try to get it done. Brought people here from all over the world. Calypso and everybody else over to France and everybody else. And the same people who got it today were the ones who was putting in the PM head. Don't do it. Leslie's natural gas. And today, the prime is ironic. And I met with Prime Minister Davis day before yesterday, and he said to me, we just signed this contract now with LNG. And I had to remind them that if they had listened to you and your people 20 years ago, we'd have gotten this for nothing. And now we're paying millions and millions of dollars for it. I said, but PM, I've never been invited to nothing that they have. I don't want to go, because I can say something that they ain't like to begin with. But it's just funny how life, because I won't tell all of them where to go, but I won't take them there. And push them off the goddamn cliff when they reach there. Because you got to work for the people. And this act that they're doing is not for the people, it's for their benefits. Again, we lost. Yeah. And it bothers me. You don't know how much that hurt me. That the Right Honorable Lyndon Finland, God bless him, Mr. Hanna, Mr. Francis, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield. I love them, and I used to talk to them. They always say, Leslie says, one thing we need is a contractual agreement with a company that produces things to bring the cost of living down for electricity in the Bahamas. God gave us that opportunity, and I wanted to pursue that to my life. And we got cut off in midstream, cut off to the point where they sent me from trade and industry to agriculture to make sure it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because the people got to bet 1.2 every year. We were getting a check from Florida Power and Light through AES for $20 million a year. And we didn't get it. And who get it today? The same SOBs who were saying it can blow up. Hot cake trying to kill you.
Wow.
But God is good. I'm still here.
Wow.
And the people still here suffering. We suffer together.
Well, Leslie,
I refuse after that. I have no generator in my yard. I could afford one. If they suffer, I can suffer with them.
So that's why you've never gotten a generator?
Never gotten one. No, because they suffer, I won't suffer with them.
Leslie, what do you think about...
Because we need to kill a couple of that crew. Okay?
Leslie, what do you think about Pia Glover speaking out this week? As you think about it, we will take a break. When we come back, Minnis is commending Glover Roll. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh, luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, process you, and entertains you 24/7.
My name is Charles Wesley Rowe. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 boys up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now, we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Comega Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
This year, Island Luck Sportsbooks at one of their very own customers all the way to San Antonio to watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks closed it out right then and there. No Game 6, no Game 7. Our customer was sitting in that arena the night the championship was decided. That's the kind of luck we talking about at Island Luck Sportsbook. Winners live here. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Well, former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis quite vocal again. He's speaking about BPL still, but this time saying he's very proud of Golden Gate's Member of Parliament, Pia Glover for standing up for her constituents. You all remember Glover Roll, in a message to executive management of Bahamas Power and Light this week, demanded answers on frequent power outages in her area, some lasting from Sunday to Wednesday of this week. And she encouraged her residents who still have issues to be able to speak with her to have their cases investigated. The message being described as unusual, many say, given that Glover Roll is a sitting member of the government. However, Dr. Minnis, a minister, yes, sir. However, Dr. Minnis believes it's a step in the right direction for governance.
Demonstrated clearly that she was defending the people. She went beyond politics. Now, yes, her party may give us some challenges for that or problems, but the point is when you are elected to Parliament, you are elected by and to defend and support the people. And maybe she has started the pathway that we should travel, right? Maybe she has started, and I hope the Bahamian people would understand that what she is saying is that, yes, she's there, but she represents them, not a political party. She speaks for them. And once we continue to follow the party line, who suffers? It's the people. And she clearly demonstrated that. So I was very proud of her.
Now, gentlemen, I'll tell you, before the show, Michael and I were sitting, and Michael was making me aware, because I wasn't, of the backlash that Glover Roll, some of it, that she's received. But I want your view, and I know we talked about this earlier this week. We were kind of straddling the fence, giving different views on the fact that where she sits and the fact that she's a member of Parliament. But your thoughts?
Minister of the government.
Yes.
Shanique, one would have to put themselves in either minister's shoes, right? And that's at the end of the day, that's like me and you come to work every day. We meet every week and we sit down and we talk about things, whether it be in your ministry, my ministry. I would be, for one, if I was the Minister of Energy, I would be quite highly slighted, because this is something that you can call me on the phone. You can and say, hey, what's going on? I need to know what's going, give me some input, because I need to tell my people something, rather than going to the public ear. Now, I understand we all entitled to do as we feel, but at the end of the day, me as your ministerial colleague, if I was in any ministry, I will now look at you sideways, could be like, okay, I wonder which day you can put me on blast, rather than just giving me a heads up, to say, hey, X, Y, and Z, let me know what's going on, because I really need to tell my people something. And let's go for anything, whether it be the Minister of Works, whether it be the Attorney General, whether it be whoever it may be. Because not everything is made to be aired in the public domain. Some things could be sorted whether it be by a telephone call, whether it be by, their weekly cabinet meetings. So, there's a lot, and you've seen a lot of voice notes going around from, I would say senior PLPs, whereas though they have been bashing out the minister for doing so because they feel the same. And I've seen, my colleague here, Howard, I've heard him say, it's a step in the right direction. But sometimes when you're a minister, there's a certain way to do things, and when you don't get an answer, or if you can get an answer, then of course,
it's collective responsibility too.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, I know, and we talked about the collective responsibility as well. Leslie would know that better than us, because he sat at the table. The thing is this, right? And this is why I believe that Bahamians are becoming increasingly apathetic with the political party system, the world, and then the world over, in the whole Western system, right? Because it appears that there is a different operation in politics and a different operation in government. So here's what I mean by that. Now, we have Mrs. Glover Roll speaking out on behalf of her constituents, but she's in the cabinet. Now, there are several things that we don't know. We know about her letter and her speaking on behalf of her constituents because that became public. We don't know if she is sitting across or next to Mrs. Colby Davis in cabinet and they had that conversation, or if they had a private conversation on the phone or met. And we don't even know if that was addressed somewhere else between those two. We don't know the private conversations. We only know about the letter. So we're speculating there that something else didn't happen in another forum. Now, when we look at it from that perspective, I don't understand why there has to be a dichotomous relationship between the politics and the government. So Mrs. Glover Roll spoke about this letter and trying to take care of her constituents, right, with the electricity. Okay, why does that have to be a problem? You headshotting your colleague politically. You are making your colleague look bad. Well, it ain't about Mrs. Glover Roll, and it ain't about Miss Colby Davis. It's about the people in Golden Gates. Why are we losing sight of what this should really be about? And Dr. Minnis, a former prime minister, Dr. Minnis, who I respect very highly, I would like for persons of Dr. Minnis's ilk to put the focus back on where it needs to go.
So you think Dr. Minister is just happily trying to stir the pot with this matter?
Last thing, so Leslie can jump in. Yeah, I think
because that did not happen
under his administration, because he knows.
And I think, Howard, that's the question asked. Would Dr. Minister allow his cabinet colleagues to go in the public domain and go back and forth at each other? I don't know, whatever you call it. But he would not. He would call them in and said, "Why would you not have had a conversation?"
And we don't know if they have. But see, my last point.
From what I can tell, I don't say so.
My last point is this, right? What Pia Glover Roll did, Dr. Minnis telling her he's proud and he's this and that. I think there's a little political stuff going on there. But also, you're making that look like the exception rather than the rule. Advocating on behalf of your constituents should not be the exception. That should be the rule. So we don't have to add a girl her too much, because the focus needs to be on providing the relief for the residents of Golden Gates. And that's the most important thing that I want to take away from what she did, rather than personalities.
You know, this situation with BEC, that you call light on, light off, I guess it's the cheaper way if you want to. The cheapest thing to do. If you want. Lost program for a couple of days, and it's free. Just you lose a couple of pounds, right? But this fight with the two ministers to get into the public domain is.
You call it a fight?
Well, I don't know what it is. If you make it one look bad, remember, Ms. Colby Davis is not responsible for the day-to-day run of BEC. I told you what the problem is. Our fellas in the Bahamas cannot have isolated situation where if one area goes, they got to have the whole system go down in that immediate area, because they can do live wire. They're not going to do it. And some of them got these buddies who little chubby, so they want them loose or make the dance. That's why they do it. But that's a fight I'm going to leave for the two ministers. I just want to understand, cabinet is collective responsibility. In some cases, when the prime minister goes away, what he does, he leaves someone to take his place. Mm-hmm. It shows you that all are equal, and the prime minister is the most equal one, because he's the prime. But all of them are, in fact, ministers in the government. And if you hit one, you hit all of them. Mm-hmm. You just need to be careful in the frustration. I realize he's frustrated. But down at the campaign today, you got a lot of so that ain't going up too bad. But BC got to do better, and we need these guys got to train to isolate these incidents. Mm-hmm. When the lights go off, but they ain't gonna do it.
That's a sore topic.
We tried to train them for the last 50 years.
But why
they ain't gonna do it.
They're not gonna do it.
They send them to Jamaica.
And when you bring the foreigners here,
they get mad.
They have an issue and go and protest and burn down the street.
Send them to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, they come back. I said, Chief, you ready now? Okay, if you think I get a damn light on, that ain't gonna happen. They ain't gonna do it.
They're not gonna do it.
And you have to really put yourself in the shoes of those who have been, and especially the businesses. Because, and the homes where people have lost, produce, food, things that I saw. Then you talk about this $8 $8 and some cents.
They better keep that money, man. They keep that money, $8 to get rid. $8.42. Who won that?
They said they said it's a rebate.
They said $8.42.
Rebate for what? You get people who lose hundreds of dollars inside in terms of food items. You get people who.
So you all say BPL, thanks but no thanks. That's what you all say.
What you can do with that?
Loss.
You can't even buy a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread and costs almost $10.
More than that.
Raisin bread is $12.50.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And I like raisin bread.
BPL, come again. BPL. Here's a PSA. Here's the PSA. Come again.
People would not have minded. BPL was responsible when people lose their fridge and they were to appliances.
Yes.
I thought let's go 20, 30 years back, because this isn't just something that just started happening.
No.
If BPL had taken responsibility years ago for when they were doing all the foolishness back then,
they never pay.
They never pay you. So if they had taken
people carry you through everything.
They had a guy in there, man. We tell him to pay. The board said you must pay. He refused. Refuse to do it. So he ain't gonna do it.
The Bahamian public would be more humble in terms of forgiving to them if they had taken on responsibility of things that they would have done to whether it be the Family Islands, New Providence, and all around the Bahamas. If they had taken responsibility 20, 30 years ago up until today, so when you put in a claim, they actually paid it. They would be more than happy to say, hey, we give you a blind BPL. We understand what $8 can do for you.
BPL, keep that. Thanks, but no thanks. Keep that.
And I don't even know if they bill anything. I think ERCOM told them, hey, this is what you all have to do.
But it could cause BEC more money to write the damn checks down to $850. You know how many checks you got to send out?
That's fine.
Think about it. You'll be printing for days.
A whole slap.
Come on, man. Forget it. Just go to those places where the women are there trying to exercise, turn that off, and let them lose that weight quick. That's my suggestion.
Leslie. A slap in the face.
Don't
of
blame me for being
people.
fat, okay?
I'll tell you this, BPL. How about just keep us informed? That really just
that ain't happen either.
That ain't happen.
No.
Several airlines.
Not our lifetime. Not the crew they got there now.
Several airline incidents with Flamingo Air over the years has left many questioning why civil aviation took so long to shut down or at least suspend the airline's operations. But a recent investigation revealed that the airline was suspended once before. We get this story from Linton Ritchie Jr.
Flamingo Airlines was grounded for a period between the years of 2023 and 2024, its first official suspension from operating, though public searches showed no records of that suspension.
I remember me personally suspending their AOC certificate before. That would have been, I think, in 2023 or 2024. So, to say that they was never suspended before is ludicrous.
The only suspension associated with the airline on record follows the July 10th tragedy announced by the Ministry of Energy, Utilities and Aviation. According to records found by Eyewitness News, between 2023 and 2024, on October 2nd, 2023, the passenger door of another Beechcraft 99 opened shortly after the aircraft took off from Nassau for Staniel Key. The aircraft returned safely to Lynden Pinland International Airport and no injuries were reported. And in July 2024, video showed a Flamingo Air aircraft moving on the ground with an emergency exit open. The airline said a passenger opened the exit while the aircraft was taxiing after landing and the pilot immediately stopped. The airline suspension was lifted shortly after. The suspension and subsequent lift all occurred while Devard Francis served as chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority. Francis, who demitted office last month, was asked for information regarding the suspension.
I don't want to say right now because, like I said, it's still under active investigation. Okay. And the crash is under active investigation, and I don't want to impede on that investigation.
As for the Independence tragedy, Chief Investigator of Air Accidents Kendall Dorsett Jr. confirming that based on wreckage site and investigations conducted thus far, all victims died on impact except for Macaro Roll. And to the question posed regarding whether the aircraft caught fire before it hit the ground.
Based off of what you have thus far, evidence collected, based on the examination of the scene, if that plane caught on fire before it hit the ground, before it made impact?
We have some indications, but again, I'd rather present that at the preliminary report phase at least, but we have some indications, so yeah.
Dorsett Jr. says the next steps will happen abroad.
And once we recover the aircraft, that's when we transport it to the United States. And so that's the main piece of evidence is the aircraft itself. It's mainly the engines.
With CAB also under scrutiny as debate surrounds their role in proper checks of aircraft safety, Francis left these words.
Incessantly inspect all planes to see that, situations and circumstances and such would never take place.
Officials say a preliminary report on the accident is expected to be released on August 10th, with a final report approximately to follow 12 months later. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Of course, it's been 1 week ago today since that fatal crash that happened in North Andros. We're going to talk about it after the break.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
It's been just 1 week ago today since that deadly Independence Day crash in North Andros as that Flamingo aircraft was preparing to land. Panel, your thoughts? Of course, this investigation is new. We understand that in the month of August there will be an initial presentation of the investigation findings, and the investigation will continue for about a year until they really produce sort of the full report. Yeah. But we will know come next month exactly what took place. But well, they have to be very. I think investigations take that long in this matter, aviation related investigations. But there will be something known initially next month. But your thoughts about the fact that Flamingo Air, as this story really focused on, was suspended and then allowed to fly again. Who would have given the permission?
You know, Shanique, I think what this needs to be a clarion call to the aviation industry. You know, whereas we always go, but you know, we can have this conversation for the next 6 months. But if something isn't done, I mean, some real policies and put in place. I'm talking about not wait till a year from now, till the reports come back. Yeah. The aviation industry, whoever the authorities are, need to go into the airport and they need to make sure, put in competent people to ensure that these type of things, whether it be inspections, whether it be in making sure flights leave with the right manifest and those who get on these flights, and put real restrictions in place. And don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Do it now. Do it now. And make sure that the enforcement is there over the next, over the next 30 years, that at least we can say, if it ever was to happen again, God forbid, at least they can say they have done everything they can possibly did. There'll be inspections and all the paperwork, everything's in place to say that they tried to avoid. But let's not go 2 years down the road having the same conversation, but nothing changed from the date. Exactly. If it was to ever happen. The past. That's it. And we have to stop going down this road. This doesn't happen. How much violations they've had.
Right. Okay. How much they need?
Come on, it's either 3 strikes and you're out, especially when it comes to aviation. What goes up must come down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and Shanique, further to this, right? We have to ask ourselves as a country. I know I talked about the paradigm of slackness early in the week relative to this topic, right? And we just have to realize, yes, we are in the global south, we are in the third world, but Bahamians in so many things, across so many industries, we now have to become more aspirational. We have to be better than what our circumstances are, and we have to aspire to not only be better, but to do better, like Michael is saying, in specific things, right? And so when we look at this aviation situation here, I think Leslie referred to it as jitneys in the sky earlier in the week, right? We can't be operating out, you see, because aviation is a consequential industry. Those people who lost their lives last Friday, there are no do-overs. They are gone. Never to be back on this side, Shanique. And so when we are dealing with an industry like that, we have to ensure that we take the safety precautions and measures. And see, we don't only need to kick in the gear. When I say aspirational, we need to do things pragmatically and proactively. We don't even have to wait for disasters to take place. Let's be proactive, man. Let's try to get the best things in place and the best people in place so that we can minimize the risk of things like this happening, untimely deaths, and causing a lot of havoc and trauma to families, man. This could have been avoided.
You know, we need consistency, and this is what happens. This is what happens in law enforcement. It happens in the aviation. They'll start something today, and tomorrow, or by next week, everybody back to their lazy. Everybody back to just sitting around like sometimes when you go in our airport, it just seems like everybody they slouch back, they laid back, like ain't nobody really come to work. Like they just passing, waiting for the 8 hours to go by. That's a very serious job.
What they do.
A serious business.
But you know what is interesting? I want to know how long it's going to take. We should give the Bahamian people it is and the government of Bahamas should give the Department of Civil Aviation 21 days to implement fully across the board the procedures that need to be put in place to protect and enhance the lives of the
But just enforce what's there already.
Yeah, but go further. The same people who are responsible for having these things done, implemented fully, put them on them damn planes from just say once a month. Just casually, just pick a number. Now you're going on that plane. You think they can check to see if that plane right?
Exactly.
The whole board. This is your being to go on that plane. Watch what they'll do. They'll put things in place because their life is now at risk. Stop doing favors for people who has no concern for the lives of other Bahamians and foreigners alike. God made all of us equal. And if these guys had so many infractions, they shouldn't have been in the air to begin with. Yet they're still flying. And they can't take a year for a plane to crash in Andros with the help from the FAA. Okay, where those lives were lost. You know the pain those families are going through now? And the funeral, I guess, could be next week sometime. Y'all got to do better. Do your job. If you don't want to do your job, leave it. Resign and go. I believe the chairman has resigned, I was told. Who's there now? He's gone.
I'm not sure if he resigned or perhaps with a new government. A new government.
If you're prepared to do your job, exit. Give it to somebody else who's prepared to do it.
Well, here's something else that is quite nobody want to hear the excuses. Nobody want to see this jitney service running in the sky to hop over to Andros and back and forth. No, not at all. Despite criticisms over the Bahamas' plan to recruit 300 teachers from Ghana, Education Minister Chester Cooper says the initiative is part of the government's commitment to strengthening the education system and ensuring students receive the quality education they rightfully deserve. Cooper explains that the educators will go through the same standard hiring and contract procedures as all other teachers.
These foreign teachers would be aligned with the same benefit packages that Bahamian teachers would receive. They will stay as long as they're needed. I indicated that this has been a decades-old issue. And we are going to be very methodical in how we resolve it. I assure the Bahamian people that the vetting process is going to be robust. We are going to ensure that any teacher we hire is qualified in terms of their credentials, but also in terms of character. They will go through the full vetting process of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Interpol, Public Service Commission, Department of Labor, etc. We're not cutting corners, but we recognize the urgency of the issue.
Well, I mean, it's good to hear that, right? But I'll tell you what, with all the row happening, you all hear that the minister has not given the impression that the 300 are not coming from Ghana. He seems to say, oh, no, they're coming, but here's what they're going to be going through. I mean, that's just what I'm understanding. I don't know if you all are.
You know, Shanique, when you hear this, this reminds me of, when they were building Cable Beach years ago, when they brought in all the Indian electricians.
Yeah.
and when it was time for them to go back, he couldn't find one of them. and all you see is a bunch of
little dog babies with curly hair.
That's right.
These little brown-skinned babies running around.
1 year later.
And they was wiring up all kinds of houses through with pine wood everywhere. They was all over the place. But we,
They leave plenty of babies in our country.
What this government failed to do, and they have done it over and over, is to consult with their own, and that being the teachers, that being those who have been retired, and sit down.
Actually, but let's be fair. For several weeks, I even featured it on the show a few times. That same minister has said, if you are retired recently or otherwise, reach out to the Ministry of Education because we have a shortage and we would welcome you back. Obviously, things will have to be worked out because we know the curriculum has changed since over time. But the point is, he has made that appeal. I've heard him. But to hear him just now, see, the row has been the 300 coming from Ghana. Then the pushback has been, no decision has been made or agreement has been signed with Ghana. But the way he talking, as though...
But, the minister really wants what is best
he does
for the Bahamian children, eh? And you got to realize that a lot of these teachers, I'm not saying a lot, but many of them are probably not up to the grade. Because some of the things these kids got to learn in school now, we are oblivious to that,
Yes.
With maths and science. They're dangerous, man.
Absolutely.
AI will change the playing field.
So you need teachers who are up to date.
Yes.
With the current level of education around the world.
Of what today's education and classroom
because our kids got to compete with everybody everywhere.
They absolutely do. I spoke with the union president, by the way, gentlemen, who does not oppose or is not in opposition to any teacher coming from anywhere, the Caribbean or anywhere else, Ghana, anywhere.
Yes, do your job.
But again, they just want to be made aware and taken along with what's being done.
I don't think nobody's opposed to it.
Yeah, Shanique, so what I wanted to say quickly was the fact that I don't believe that we're going to have enough teachers to even, Bahamian teachers,
in the family
to even pull half of the 300, right? So I believe the minister's remarks are crafted in line with the fact that you'll get about 50 or 60 teachers who are certified, who are qualified, Bahamian teachers, to fill some of those vacancies. And then the balance will have to be sourced externally. I fully believe that. And so that's why his remarks are possibly crafted like that. So we have to understand it in that context. These teachers aren't going to be all 300 Bahamian teachers, but it brings to light a bigger question.
Less than 60 days away,
And it's
got to be done now.
Yes, absolutely.
Now.
Another thing too is this government, I said it before and I can say it again, unforced errors. You have to communicate. Okay, the minister said he's inviting the teachers who are retired, etc., to reach out. Well, you can't just let that be the standalone thing. That needs to be part and parcel with your active and aggressive recruitment of these people. Because listen, if I then teach for 30 years and 40 years, and I going on cruises and playing bingo, and I chilling on my couch and gardening and thing, you want me to reach out to you? Man, listen, some of these people are already in that mood and in that mode, even if they are older and they've been out of the system for a while. So you can't just put the onus of responsibility on them to make the contact. You have to aggressively recruit them.
I will say, Howard, on this show this week, whether Monday or Tuesday evening, I had the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Education and Senator Keenan Johnson on. He said exactly what you said. This is what they're doing, even to recent graduates at University of Bahamas and outside the Bahamas for those who studied, as well as has retired. This is what they've been doing through that new committee or commission that's been formed that he is leading. This is what is being done.
But you also have to think, this is really, when you look at 300 teachers coming abroad, you got to find housing in all these family islands that you put them. And
Where are they going to go?
It's a lot of, I would say, a lot of work to do. A lot of work to be done in order to make this happen by September.
Money.
Yeah. They have to be here before then.
And hopefully,
the thing is, though, it needs to be done. It is not even just a preference. It has to be done because for too long, schools, whether they be in Berry Islands, Southern Bahamas, anywhere else, have been without teachers entirely. Students just sitting there waiting and twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure it out.
They better be able to speak Creole too, There you go. Don't forget that.
Listen, you want them Africans.
School is more.
You want them Africans speak Creole. Listen, it's a different thing.
They better.
That's a
That's the real world, Is that not the real world we live in?
There's a whole entire thing. Listen, I thank you very much, Leslie Miller, Michael Turnquest, Howard Johnson. Thank you very much for being here this evening. Incredible show, responses, insights, perspectives on all of the days and weeks' top stories. And thank you all for tuning in all week long. I appreciated having you along and your participation and your feedback and all the rest of it. I look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a blessed weekend, everyone.